What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at the most valuable cards that are coming around in Premium Booster 02. It is out in Japan right now, which means we can see people playing with the cards, we can see what's being good, we can see which cards are the most expensive, sought after, valuable, phrase it how you will. So we're going to start off with a bunch of honourable mentions, the 6K Club. Bunch of cards that are coming in at 6,000 yen. Like, for instance, Come On, We'll Fight You. This is one of the manga events that's coming around in this set. We've got 4 manga events, all reprints from OP09, all suited particularly to one of the 4 emperors. And yes, if you're wondering, the other 3 will be appearing on this list in a moment. The other 3 actually make the list. This is the only one that doesn't. Make of that what you will. But this one is coming in at 6,000 yen, which, you know, it's more than a booster box. It's not particularly bad for an honourable mention. 6,000 yen, we're basically talking almost dead on $40. So still a decently priced card, still a bit of value, but it doesn't make it. We then have a trio of Don. We're talking about Chopper Don, Hancock Don, and Bonnie Don. All 3 of these are coming in at the same 6,000 yen. We are, of course, talking about the Gold Don. I'm kind of assuming you guys got that, but just to be clear, these are Gold Don cards. These aren't the big ones. The big ones are on the list I'm about to show you. These are all fine. If anybody's wondering, we're not really doing a top 10. It actually turns into a top 13 because of a tie at the bottom. And in that top 13, there are 6 Don cards. We've got about half Don, half non-Don. So these 3 coming in at numbers kind of 7 to 9. Decent enough. So what is coming in at joint number 10? Well, we have 3 more Don cards. Snake Luffy Don, Yamato Don, and Nami Don, all coming in at 8,000 yen, which is about $54. So, again, we're talking about decently playable Don. You know, all Don is playable, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, Luffy is a very popular character, and Luffy is always a good deck. Yamato is fairly popular as a character, and that deck keeps popping around. And Nami, obviously very popular, and again, Nami sees a little bit of play. So all 3 of these Don are kind of tied in at number 10 at 8k, along with Cross Guild. Yeah, that's right, I told you I was going to make it on there. This is the 3rd out of 4 manga event cards from the set. Probably my favourite of them. I think this one looks absolutely stunning. And of course, the whole manga event thing, they're just beautiful cards. They're beautiful, they're popular, people love them. They're cards which we've got, and they're readily available. But Cross Guild, if you're playing Buggy, this is going to be a pretty popular card. And the artwork is stunning. So all these 4 cards come in tied at number 10 at 8,000 yen. And then, I'm afraid, as I'm looking around at the moment, there's not that much differentiation. So really, from 5 all the way down to 9... we are tied in at 10,000 yen, and we've got a couple of Don cards here, Gear 5 Luffy Don and Blackbeard Don. And to be fair, we know that Luffy, crazy playable. We know that Marshall E. Teach, Blackbeard, crazy playable. So it kind of makes sense that these would be there. Generally, when it comes to the Gold Don, you're looking for 2 things. You're looking for, is the leader playable? Because, let's face it, the big One Piece nerds, and yes, I do count myself among them, are going to want to try and match their Don to their leader wherever possible. And then just, is the character popular? Because the more popular the character is, the more people are going to want the Don. So, if you get both of them added up together, you end up with very popular Don. Blackbeard as a character, I don't know how popular. I suggest not hideously, but very playable. Luffy, we hit, protagonist, the main character, with super playable, and you've kind of got a perfect storm. Elsewhere, coming in at 10,000 yen, we've actually got the 3 big alternate art cards, and let's start off with Shanks from OP06. There's a bunch of alternate arts in the set. Bunch of reprinted cards kind of coming back all big and fancy. But these are the big ones. By the way, I should mention 10,000 yen, you're talking $67. So the Shanks from OP06 then, I mean, firstly, we got Sir Shanks. People love Shanks. Secondly, this is a good card that just kind of keeps popping up. People like this Shanks. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you that the original alternate art was done by the wonderful Akira Igawa, but we just got a 10 cost 12k that on play KOs a 10k or less. Good card. Very fun. We've then got the alternate art of Rebecca from OP05, and this is a fun one because, like, Rebecca had an alternate art in OP05, and there's been other reprints like the special rare from OP06, so it's not like we were desperate for a new version of this Rebecca, but it's still a redonkulously playable card. You know, on play, it's a blocker, and on play, you add a black card of a cost of 3 to 7 from your trash to your hand, and then play a free cost or less. It's an absurdly good card. Like, it recovers a card, plays a card, and gives you a blocker on the board that, in theory, you've only actually really paid 1 Don for, because you've paid an extra 3 Don, and then, you know, you've recovered those 3 Don by playing 1 for free. So, yeah, not bad. And then we've got the Luffy. Now, this is actually the brand new Luffy. The Luffy that came around in EB02, the only card reprinted from EB02. But remember, we're talking here about an alternate art of an absurdly playable card. You know, this Luffy itself was kind of bringing up the price of EB02. So, yeah. This Luffy's a pretty big deal. We got a trio of cards all coming in at 10,000 yen. Now, I would love at this point to tell you that we're done with ties. We're not done with ties, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But it is a last tie. At 3 to 4, we got 2 cards, one of which is the Shanks Don. This is a big Don, by the way. This is the biggest Don. And bearing in mind, I've already mentioned like Luffy, Nami, a bunch of others. This is the single highest Don right now. This is the big gold Don. Is it going to stay here? I don't know. But you know what? There's a chance, ladies and gentlemen. There is a chance. Right now, it's 13,000 yen. And I'm not going to make you convert it in your head. I'll do that for you. 13,000 yen is $87. But that is 3,000 yen, 30% higher than any other Don we see on here. And you got to think this is kind of a playability thing. Yeah, the Don's got a cool design, but I rather suspect we are talking playability here because that Shanks deck, that's a good deck, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very, very, very good deck. So that's my theory. Shanks has been a top tier deck, you know, really since release. So you get this fancy Don, and it kind of makes sense. Tied with it for 3rd/4th, we've got My Era Begins. This is the second highest of the manga events in the set. It's a 1 cost that searches Blackbeard Pirates and does the same thing as a trigger. So, yeah, honestly, very, very good. Very, very playable. And these manga events are stunning. So this makes perfect sense. So if that's number 3, what do we got for 1 and 2? Well, in at number 2, we've got the manga event of Gum Gum Giant. And anyone who's been paying attention to the competitive side of the game lately will look at this and go, yeah, okay, fair point. Kind of could have seen that coming. Of the 4 manga events that we're getting in the set, this is, I mean, firstly, it's the only one with Luffy, and the design is amazing and all of that. But secondly, it's just by far the most playable. It's an absurdly good card. 1 cost as a counter, Don -2, trash 1 from your hand. And then if your leader's Straw Hat Crew, you get a 4k bump for the battle and draw 2 cards. Crazy good card. Absolute staple in basically any deck that can play it. You add all this up together and then you go, yeah, you know what? Of course, that was always going to be number 1. It's actually quite a bit higher here. It's coming in at 25,000 yen, almost double the number 3 and 4 cards. It's $168. So there is basically, it's creeping up from like 8 at number 13 to 13 at number 3. And then we go to 25 at number 2. A huge leap, but one that actually does make quite a lot of sense. It's Luffy, it's beautiful, it's crazy playable. Add it all together, okay, fine. So what does that leave as a number 1 card in the set? Obviously Manga Sanji. And it's only 60,000 yen. I say only 60,000 yen. For a long time, the kind of standard, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill manga rare was 100k. 100,000 yen. Now, that's not really the case anymore. Things tend to be a little bit cheaper. But the point is, 60,000 yen isn't really special. It's just kind of standard. But it's still the manga rare in the set. Big jump from number 2 up to here. And, 60,000 yen, you're talking pretty much $400. It's a pretty big deal. So, yeah, after all of that, turns out it was the manga all along. And you'll notice a little bit of a theme here. We've basically got, outside of the manga Sanji, we got manga events and Gold Dawn. There are 3 alternate arts that kind of pop in the middle, playable cards from popular characters, but it is heavy on manga and gold, and you know what? Yeah, that's probably the kind of thing we will be expecting. So there we go. Those are the most valuable cards from Premium Booster 02, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me what you want to be pulling from the set in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.